it's me, Caitlin, your favorite mission girl. It's been a couple weeks, but granted, I've been a little bit busy getting life reorganized and getting trying to adjust and making some decisions about my future and things I want to do. So I wanted to take a little bit of time to just settle down, get used to being back in little middle Michigan, and restart and get started in a new job and just get my life back together up here. Part of which was, as you can see around me, I have a new room set up. So this has definitely changed. This actually used to be in front of my window, which I think is why the lighting on my videos were so weird, because it was right in the window. Even with the blinds closed, it was just bright because I was right in front of the light. So I made the decision I wanted to move my room around when I came home from Florida, because I also wanted more space, because my bed was actually over here where my desk was, and it was sticking out into the middle of my room. If you watch my old videos, you could see that. My bed is now actually over by my window, and because of that, I have so much more space in my room. I also got, excuse me, I'm so excited. I also got rid of my 3 bookcases. I had a 5-shelf bookcase and then 2 3-shelf bookcases. I got rid of all 3 of those, and granted, it was a good idea with my 5-shelf bookcase because that was literally falling apart. And instead, I got these 2 new white, I still can't, 5-shelf bookcases. I still can't see what I'm doing over my shoulder. So I have these 2 new 5-shelf bookcases that are beautiful and gorgeous. And as you can see, I plainly have favorite books I love to collect. I obviously love to collect Star Wars. So this bookcase is all the Star Wars books that are considered canon. I also threw in a few Legends books, so I have the Old Republic 4-book series up there. I have the 5 Clone Wars novels in there, because until I do consider those canon, I don't care what anyone else says about them being Legends. To me, they are canon. I mean, come on, Dave Filoni basically admitted that Revan was going to be in Clone Wars, and he considers Revan canon. So, hi! And then this bookcase over here has my favorite non-canon Star Wars books, which is basically the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Jedi Apprentice series, and the Kenobi novel, and my Han Solo special edition book, along with some guidebooks and some other books. And that will be slowly but surely getting filled. So that's actually what I did last weekend, you guys, is my brother and I, my brother helped me with the bookcases, but I basically moved my room around. I moved the bed by myself. I have a new shelving unit I put up from Five Below because I got rid of my old one. I am enjoying my room. My mom does not like how high my bed is. As you can see, my bed is actually lifted. I actually use that gray footstool to get in and out of my bed, unless I decide to be a monkey and climb it. I actually like it. I love having my bed up that high and having my bed by the window. It's really, really nice. So I'm loving my room, my new room layout. I have so much more room to do my yoga now. I will say I have dialed back my yoga practices. I was doing 2 30-minute yoga practices with a 20-minute and a 10. I've actually dialed it back a little bit, partly because of my new job. So now I do just 1 30-minute, and then I do a 20-minute, and then I do another 20-minute right before bed. And I'm not like beating myself up about like trying to like do all this workout. That is one thing I will say about being in Florida. I weigh when I'm here, I weigh myself every morning to keep track of my weight, because I'm actively trying to lose weight, and I've lost quite a bit. If you go back and watch my older videos, I do not look like this. But in Florida, I got a scale for Florida that was one of the dial scales, and I was having a really hard time reading that. And so I just really wasn't keeping track of my weight. Like, I would weigh myself, but I didn't really feel that pressure to be like, oh, I need to go weigh myself and put my weight down. Because I have a cycle tracker I use, and one of the things they measure is my weight, and so that helps me keep track. But I just wasn't keeping track of my weight down there like I was up there, and actually it felt pretty nice. But now that I'm back home, I'm keeping track of my weight again, and it is kind of annoying, but I'm trying. I've been doing my best to wean myself off it, but it was so much easier in Florida, where I didn't really stop to think about my weight because I was in Florida and I was having fun. And honestly, I did actually lose a ton of weight in Florida, even though I wasn't eating like I was, because I was doing so much walking, and I was being really active. Like, even just going to work in Tomorrowland, if I had a step counter, I would have loved to see how many steps I took because I would do so much walking just on my shifts. Um, so yeah, so I did lose a lot of weight. I gained back some of it, but I'm doing really good. I'm just happy I'm below 155. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, I rearranged my room, but I also had to wait to do that till after I got over COVID. So I mentioned this in, I don't know, I did 2 videos. I think I mentioned it in my self-terming video or in my haul video. But I actually came home with COVID. So I got home May 22nd from Florida. Um, May 19th was my last day of work at Disney World, and I woke up feeling really, really crummy. My throat was raw, and I talked about how I thought it was my allergies or just the fact that I was sleeping in an air-conditioned room and it was very dry. I felt really crummy Friday to the point that when I went to go drop off my costume, I actually got a bottle of water from the vending machine at the bus stop. And I was just chugging water all day long. I even tried walking down to the shopping center, but I didn't really get anything. So it was just, I felt miserable all day Friday. And it wasn't helped by the fact that when my aunt and cousin came, my cousin was the one who helped me load my stuff into the car. My cousin told me that I really should have considered just leaving a bunch of my stuff behind. Basically, they wanted me to leave behind anything that wasn't absolutely necessary for me to bring home. And so they wanted me to bring home the souvenirs I've gotten because those were souvenirs. But they also then wanted me to leave like some of my clothes, the food my mom had brought me that she told me I needed to bring home, medicine I needed. I ended up leaving behind 2 throw pillows and a blanket that my aunt had gotten me. And I ended up throwing out bed sheets and stuff and towels because they didn't want me to bring all this stuff home with me because they needed space for their 2.5 bags. And just an FYI, my aunt drives an SUV, so there was lots of room. But yeah, so I was sick that day, and then the next day they came and got me. I checked out. I was in the there's my Roku. I was in their car. We stopped for breakfast. It was really hard. My cousin scolded me that Friday for leaving, and then at breakfast the next morning, my cousin left the table for a minute. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but my aunt basically said, "We're not disappointed in you. We just wanted you to stay longer." But this is what I wanted to reply to my aunt because I love my family. I do, and I used to be really close to this aunt. But the reason she wanted me to stay was because she thought I could get her into the Mickey's Not So Scary for free, and I can't do that. I wasn't able to do that. So yeah. So I got home. I felt really crummy Saturday. I felt a little bit better Sunday. Felt crummy Monday, and then Tuesday I was feeling better, and that's when my aunt messaged me and said that I need to go get tested because my cousin had taken an at-home test, tested positive. So he went, got me tested, and I did test positive for COVID. But I was on day 5 at that point. So by that Thursday, I was totally fine and healthy, and I actually did an interview the next day. So it was a Zoom interview. It was a Zoom interview. So yeah. So that was fun. I will say, my second round of COVID, this breakout case, I think I'm so lucky I was vaccinated because my symptoms weren't as bad. I mean, this time around, they were exactly like my allergy symptoms when I have an allergy attack. So sore throat, sneezing, coughing, stuffy nose. I had all those symptoms, but unlike last time where all I really had I had the congestion and the nausea, and the congestion lasted and it got built in my nose to the point that I actually physically hurt. This time around, the congestion never got that bad. Once again, I just took Mucinex to help with the symptoms. I never ran a fever. I felt totally, seriously, it just felt like my allergies. It was just that runny nose, coughing, congestion, but it lasted longer. Like the first time I had COVID, my congestion only lasted maybe 3 to 4 days, and then I started feeling better, and I was back to normal within a week. This time around, the symptoms lasted almost 3 weeks, so they lasted a little bit longer. Even after had run its course, they lingered. So this time around, my symptoms weren't as bad, but they did last a little bit longer. So that sucked. I will say COVID the second time around sucks just as much as COVID the first time around. But I was vaccinated, so I think that helped. I'm just happy. I don't think my mom got sick, but my mom wouldn't tell me if she did. My brother says he thinks he might have gotten a little bit of COVID because after I came home, he did feel a little bit crummy, but he bounced right back. So other than that, I don't think I gave. I also felt really bad because my mom's friend and her son came and were with us in the car on Sunday. So thankfully, my mom's friend and her son didn't get COVID. So yay! Hooray for vaccination! But yeah, that was fun. I came home from Florida with the one souvenir at this point nobody wants to bring home, and in my head I'm going, well, at least it's not monkeypox. Yeah, so I came home with COVID, and that was interesting. But because I was jobless, it gave me like 2 weeks off where I could just relax and heal. But yeah, but I'm no longer jobless. I started a new job. I work at a local financial institution here in the city of Midland, and it is kind of fancy. I know banks and credit unions try to be kind of fancy, but this credit union really, really likes to push the fanciness. So it's interesting. I posted on Facebook that I started this. It's interesting because I'm like, I am like country. I like to be fancy. I like to dress up. I like to put on makeup. I like to do like fun, fancy stuff. But in my heart, I am the geeky, down home country girl. I don't mind being a little bit dirty. I don't mind being outside. I don't mind, playing with the animals and stuff like that. And so for me, I don't want to dress fancy every day. I have to wear dress shoes to this job every day, and they hurt. They were rubbing my ankles raw to the point where I haven't started walking or running because my ankles are so raw. I can't do it would not be in pain right now because of the dress shoes. So I'm sitting here going, well, this is interesting. Like I have to wear like here's what's weird. I don't wear a costume to this job. So it's not Disney. But in my head, I'm looking at the dress code for this position. It is way stricter than the dress code at Walt Disney World. Like I have to wear dress shoes and they have to be polished and they have to be shiny and nice, and my skirts have to be between a certain length. Like my skirts can only be, I think, like an inch above my knees, and then they cannot be by my ankles, and I have to wear pants of a certain length, and I can only wear like business professional clothes. The dress code is business casual, but the way they want you to dress is not business casual at all. Like the only time it's business casual is on Fridays, where you can wear blue jeans and a shirt with the company logo on it. So to me, it's like, I don't have a ton of money right now because I was just in Florida for a month. So, I did splurge and I did get a new Launchfly. But I don't really have a ton of money that I want to put towards really fancy business casual clothes right now because I start school in the fall, and I'm still waiting to hear back to see if I'll get my federal financial aid back, because they took that away from me because I took the summer semester off because I was going to be in Disney and just start back up again in the fall. And they said, well, you didn't finish your degree in that time frame. We're pulling your funding. And I'm like, but that's not fair. I only have 2 classes left. So I got to figure out funding to pay for my final 2 classes for my bachelor's, which I am bound and determined to get. And I guess it's partly the reason why I accepted this job, because the job does pay really, really well and for part-time. So I'm going to be making a decent amount of money. And also I have decided, I'm making this announcement official. If people, please, people, if you're going to flame me, do so in a respectful manner. I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism to saying this because I did talk about self-terming, and I self-termed so early from Disney World, but I also think I mentioned this in a couple of the last 2 videos. I've been thinking about reapplying for the Disney College program. However, I can't reapply for 6 months because I self-termed. So when you're self-termed, you have a hiring freeze where you can't apply for another Disney position for a period of 6 months, after which you can apply. They don't take your the fact that you self-termed into consideration. What they look at is the notes from when you worked there. And if you were a good worker, if you were a consistent worker, if you were a great cast member, that's what they look at. So the fact that I self-termed shouldn't play a part in this, because I explained I self-termed for sensory issues and I need to come home. And I've come home and I'm just obsessed with getting back there. I miss Disney. I even miss Florida. And so I just want to go back there so much. And also, So I made the official decision. As of last week, I will be reapplying to do DCP again as soon as my 6 months period is up, and as soon as applications are open again for DCP. And I think I can apply up to DCP till next till December of 2023, because I will be finished with school in December of this year, December 2022, and that means I can apply for up to 2 years of the application date. So as long as that application date falls within 24 months of me finishing my degree, I can apply to do DCP. Do I think I'm going to be accepted into DCP? No. I would love to say I'm confident that I'm going to get back into DCP, that they're going to accept me a second time, but I honestly do not know what the chances of me are getting back into DCP a second time after self-terming after being there for only a few weeks. But I will say my coordinators and my team leaders were very understanding about my decision to self-term. I will also say that they were very sad that I felt I had no choice but to self-term, because I was just not adjusting to the noise level and I was having issues. So they were very big about me coming back after 6 months, like taking 6 months to rest, to think, to finish my schooling in the fall, and then after that 6 months, reapply and come back. So they were very serious. Like my one coordinator, my last day there, she was literally seriously talking to me about jobs I could apply to work at Walt Disney, because she wanted me to return. So I don't want to say that I'm guaranteed a spot in DCP. I actually don't think I'll get accepted again, but I do have hope that there's a chance I might get accepted. But like I said, I have to wait 6 months. So I self-termed in May. So I think my self-term date is going to be May 20th. So 6 months from May 20th is like the end of November. So I have to wait till basically December to apply. But here's the thing. I don't know if they will have DCP program applications open, be accepting them during that time frame, because when I applied, they opened them September 14th and they closed them near the end of October, early November. So I don't think there'll be an application period opened at that point that I can enroll in. So I might not be able to apply to DCP again till next spring, probably, which is fine with me. I can wait that long because it gives me better chances to save up money, because this time around I'm going to be smarter about it. I'm going to start saving up money now. I am actually going to go to my credit union as soon as I get my first paycheck, and I am going to open up a second savings account solely for the purpose of saving money up for DCP to go back to Disney. And I actually already have a packing list of what I'm going to bring down, because I think it might be really expensive to get like food and bedding and stuff down there when I get there. But I need to be realistic and say this time around I might not be able to get someone willing to drive me all the way to Florida with the price of gas and everything. So it might be smarter to take a plane down or take a train. And I did find that there is a train that goes from Detroit to Orlando. It's about $181 for like round trip. I don't know how much it'd be for one way. And then a plane ticket, I found there's an airline called Allegiant Air that goes from Flint Bishop to Orlando Sanford International in Florida, and it's like right now the ticket's $89. So I could do that. I've never flown before. I'm terrified of flying, but if it gets me to Disney, I will do it. You know, my dad, I told my dad once, I'm like, flying, I am absolutely terrified of flying. I am sure the plane's going to go down with me in it, but if it means I get to go to Disney, heck yeah, I will do it. So, yeah, so I'm limiting myself. I decided that the amount of luggage, I will bring no more than 3 suitcases in one duffel bag, and that will be it for the luggage, and I will just get everything else I need down in Florida, because I happen to have a Target card and there's a Target there. So I'm sure I will be able to find a lot of stuff that I need down there in terms of bed sheets and pillows and food. My mom could very easily, I have Amazon Prime, so I could very easily get like ramen and stuff from Amazon. So I'm being smart this time. I don't want to bring as much luggage down. So yeah, so I'm already starting to get some rough ideas. I already have a budget in mind of what I want to save for, and then anything over that will just be better. So yeah, I'm officially going to reapply to Disney College program. It won't be for a while, but it's already something I'm thinking about. I told my mom and my brother and one of my friends, and a couple of my mom's friends know, but I have not told my dad. My dad doesn't know that I am going to reapply to do the Disney College program. My dad is the one who told me when I started having issues with my hearing and they were affecting my living conditions in Florida. He told me that he never wanted me to go down there, that he wanted to tell me no, I couldn't do it, but he was afraid I was going to be so mad that he just went along with it. So I don't want, my mom even told me, don't tell your dad. So my plan is I'm not telling my dad that I'm doing any of this, that I'm planning to do this, unless I get accepted into DCP. Then I will tell my dad I'm going back. Because what's funny is my dad was the one who promised me as a kid that he would take me to Disney World one day and that we would do this and be fun and awesome and amazing. And he was the one who would be on the phone getting the vacation videos and DVDs and all this other stuff. So it kind of boggles me that my dad has always known that I wanted to go to Disney. And then as we got older, it kind of turned into he wasn't interested in planning this trip anymore. So it became something I would do for fun. So then I get the chance to go down to Disney and only work for Disney. And I think my dad is supportive. He gave my aunt gas money, but then turns out he really wasn't supportive and he didn't want me to go at all. And he just went along with it because he was afraid I was going to get mad. You could have just told, I wanted to tell him, you could have told me no. I would have gotten mad, but I probably would have gotten over it and waited anyway till I was done with school. Because that's probably what I should have done, is wait till I was finished with my degree and then applied. But I didn't. So, yeah, so I'm not telling my dad that I'm going down, that I'm not going down yet, that I'm reapplying. But my mom knows and my brother knows and some of our friends know, so that's good news. I haven't told the aunt who took me down yet. In fact, the aunt who took me down, I haven't heard from her in a while. So we're estranged again. So there's that. My aunt and I are estranged again, which I guess is just par for the course. So, but yeah, so that's up. I guess I should talk about the fact that I low-key came out to my mom and my dad. Okay, so I kind of briefly mentioned it in the haul video where I showed off my Buy Pride pin that I got from Disney World, but I don't think I've really actually come out and said it to people. Well, my brother knows, my friend knows, and then my mom and my dad, I think, know. So, for the record, I am bisexual. I just, last winter is when I finally just accepted the fact that I was bi, because I think I've known I've been bi for a very long time, for a few years at this point. But because I've always been more interested in guys than girls, I just thought I can't be bi because I just seem to favor guys more than girls. And then I did more research and was like, oh, you can be bi and have a preference. And I'm like, oh. So, yeah, I finally accepted the fact after, I think maybe I was 25. It's been almost 10 years, like 25, 26, when I started thinking maybe I am bi, that I'm finally able to say that, yeah, I am bi. I am a bisexual. And I told my brother, and my brother is just one of those people who's like, yeah, whatever, okay. So he just like brushed it off, I think. And then I told my friend, and my friend was like, kind of like, oh. And then he's like, oh, I'm bi too. And I'm like, okay. But I hadn't told anybody else. And I hadn't even told my parents, because I'm like, what are my parents going to do? I know my parents don't care most of the time, but I'm their kid, I'm their daughter. I don't want to spring it on them one day that I suddenly have a girlfriend and then the next week I have a boyfriend. So I didn't want to spring that on them and like confuse them. So I just didn't know how to say it. And then my dad and I went to Star Wars night at the Great Lakes Saloons, and I took my Ahsoka pin bag, which has my bi pin in it. And a little girl came up and said that was a pretty pin because I was giving some of my pins away to little kids, and she wanted that. I'm like, no, that's one pin I'm keeping. She's like, what is it? And I'm like, because Midland is conservative, but some people are open-minded, but I didn't want to explain to her what the pin represented. I mean, I should have, but at the same time, her mom was standing there, and I live in a conservative town. So I didn't want to cause an uproar. And I was telling my dad that, and I'm like, she wanted my Buy Pride pin. And I'm not sure if he caught the fact that I just outed myself to him. Like, it didn't even hit me till later. And the same thing happened with my mom, where I talked about that incident, and I don't know if I actually outed myself to my mom. That's why I said I low-key outed myself, because I didn't even stop to think about the fact that I might have outed myself to my parents till like days later. I'm like, shoot. But my parents didn't care, so I think my parents know I'm bi and they just don't care. So, yay! I just wish other people had that reaction from their families. Like, it shouldn't matter what your sexuality is. They're your family. They should love you no matter what. And I'm glad especially my mom is willing to put up with her daughter and her craziness. So, yeah, I'm bi. So, yeah, I'm still learning, still like coming to terms with that. I still, like I haven't told anybody outside my one friend, my brother, and low-key my parents. Because I'm proud of my sexuality, I'm proud of who I am, but at the same time I'm also nervous because I have some people I'd like to keep in contact with, and I'm afraid that if they find out I'm bi, they'll cut off contact. I know people are saying you shouldn't be afraid, but I don't want, I don't know. I need to think about this. This is my coming out to you guys because I feel strong. I know people aren't going to judge me, but my family is the hard part. Like, I have a lot of conservative family members that I don't talk to because of that. So maybe it will be okay. I mean, I don't talk to most of my family members anymore anyway. So if it comes up, it comes up. I'm of the opinion that if I tell you, yay. If I don't, then whatever. It is what it is. I think I'm being very confusing. It's just something I need to think about. But yeah, so that is all I have for you guys today. I just wanted to jump on and do a quick update about what is going on in my life. Like I said, I started a new job this week. I low-key came out to my parents, which I'm still trying to process whether or not they actually caught on that I came out to them or not. I have made the decision. I started a new job. I think I already said I started a new job. I made the decision I'm going to apply to DCP again in the future. I'm just really excited to see what my life is going to be like, you know. I'm ready. I think what it is that going down to Disney really did open the world up to me and show me the possibilities. And now I want to go back to that. You know, I love Michigan. I love Midland. I love being in the state. And it's a very kind of open to the world type of place, but at the same time, it feels so very small and in some cases so very narrow. So I very much want to return and learn more about the world and just interact with people who are outside the Michigan bubble, outside the Midland bubble, outside my bubble, okay? So I'm really hoping that I can apply to DCP, and this time around, I will just grit my teeth and bear it, you know. I've had this disorder since I was 1. I need to learn how to live with it. I can't keep hiding from loud noises because they're going to happen, and I'm just going to have to be able to deal with it when it does. So that is that. So I'm going to get going for the day. Thank you guys so much for watching me, especially my awkward coming out part, which I think was very, very awkward. And like I said, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it and live with pride and be out there and vocal about who I am. And it's something I'm probably going to be struggling with for a while because as much as I have this loud, bright, bubbly personality, certain things I get very nervous about, and telling people about that is one of them. So, but you guys are okay because I trust you guys. So thank you everybody so much for watching. If you guys have topics, ideas, things you'd like to see me cover or do on this channel, let me know. I'm always looking for ideas. So thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. I'm sending you all lots of love, hugs, and prayers, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.